What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Blank9 here today to chat with you more about some Call of Duty in general, basically. Knowing the news now that Sledgehammer Games is apparently back in the driver's seat for Call of Duty development, and they'll be creating this year's game, Call of Duty 2021, whatever the shape that game takes hold of. Now, I wanted to talk about Sledgehammer coming back, and as well as that Call of Duty moving back to the 3-year development cycle that gives the developers more time to create their game. Now, this is somewhat inspired by a Reddit post on the official Black Ops Cold War Reddit from a user by the name of Vanitas935, and he says this: "The yearly COD releases need to end. Give the devs some breathing room and let them at least polish the game, otherwise we're going to get these results of a poorly rushed game because Activision didn't want to delay it. I would not even care to play Modern Warfare for another year if it means more time to make Cold War, to make it playable and enjoyable without the constant crashes. If Activision is going to stick with just Infinity Ward and Treyarch making COD games, extend the life cycle, otherwise this is what we're getting." Now, this was posted 5 days ago before the news that Sledgehammer Games is apparently back, so Call of Duty is now moving back to the original 3-year development cycle that we've seen in the past couple of years before Modern Warfare 2019. Now, this can only be a good thing for the Call of Duty franchise as a whole. If you look at games, for example, like Assassin's Creed, where they sort of had a stumbling in quality, and then that extra break sort of lifted the quality of those games again, we could potentially be seeing the same thing here with Call of Duty. Like, we look at Black Ops Cold War and we can see that this game is rushed, that this game is nowhere near finished, and if Black Ops Cold War got an extra year to be developed, we could be looking at a very, very promising Call of Duty game, but they didn't have that because Daddy Activision needed their Call of Duty money. In terms of Vanitas' original post, I don't think Activision would ever give Call of Duty developers 2 years to finish their game if the game was meant to be released at a certain period of time. So say, for example, yes, this year Activision wanted Treyarch to release this game as soon as they were done with it in 2020, and they did so. And it's clear to see that this game could use some extra polish, and I don't think that Activision would ever give the developers that extra time. This 3-year development cycle is basically the best that we can get, because the developers essentially have about 2 years to create their Call of Duty game instead of 1. So this year with Cold War, that means Treyarch can sort of support the game for an extra year and then have 2 years to create their next game, which will release in 2023. Because as it stands right now, 2021 will be Sledgehammer's game, 2022 will be Modern Warfare 2, probably developed by Infinity Ward, and then in 2023 we're back with Treyarch creating that 3-year development cycle once again. There are rumors that Sledgehammer is creating 2 different IPs, and it's just sort of up to debate which IP this is going to be. Apparently they're going to make Advanced Warfare 2, which I would not be fully against, but it's interesting to see that they would go back to Advanced Movement. And then the other option that they have is World War 3. Now, World War 3 would be a very, very interesting one, because think about it, how is that going to work? We're going to have World War 3, and then we're going to have Modern Warfare 2, and then we're going to have potentially another old school type of Call of Duty game with Treyarch in 2023. Or is World War 3 going to be like a Black Ops 2 kind of situation where it's set in the sort of near future, I guess, whereas Modern Warfare is set in the modern day? So that could be really interesting. Sledgehammer taking advantage of the future / near future time frame, Infinity Ward taking advantage of the modern day, and then Treyarch taking advantage of the past. That could be an interesting mix of development. It means we get different settings every year, different time settings, and different ideas as well. Out of the 2 options, personally, I'd probably like to see World War 3 more than Advanced Warfare 2. I don't know if there's much more that they can do with the world of Advanced Warfare, and I don't think the community would respond well to Advanced Movement coming back into the fold either. I think that World War 3 would be a very interesting setting. We kind of had World War 3 with Modern Warfare 3, where if you remember the reveal trailer of that, it sort of spelled World War 3 at the end, and then the W turned into an M and it was MW3, which is, oh my god, crazy cool. But it could be a very interesting setting for us to go to here with this year's game, potentially being World War 3, and then as well as that you could have some somewhat future elements, as well as like keeping it grounded, boots on the ground, with somewhat modern weaponry too. I think that the storyline there would probably be like a one-off storyline. You could potentially continue on with some descendants of the characters from World War 2 and say it's in the same universe, but I don't think if you create the World War 3 game, I see that more being a one-off game rather than it being a continuous series game, say for example like your Modern Warfares and your Black Ops series of games as well. I can see a studio like Sledgehammer, for example, creating games that aren't necessarily serialized. I can see them more creating games that are maybe one-offs, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing as well. Not everything has to be serialized, and if Sledgehammer can have the creative freedom to just continuously make one-off games and one-off Call of Duty games, it opens them up to more settings, more opportunities, and different ways to sort of place Call of Duty. And I think overall that could be a very, very interesting way to go about it. If we have your two serialized games and your Infinity Wards and your Treyarch, and then you have your one-off games, which will be like a one-shot into some setting or some period and that sort of thing. So that could be very, very cool and very, very interesting to dive into. Sledgehammer coming back can only mean good things, as I said, in terms of the developments. And I don't hate Sledgehammer Games either. I know that some people don't like the Sledgehammer brand of Call of Duty, but personally for me, I don't mind it. I didn't think Advanced Warfare was an awful game. I didn't think it was the best game, but I didn't think it was an awful game. And I think that World War II, after the patches and after the overhaul that they made, World War II is a very, very solid Call of Duty game. So I think overall, with Sledgehammer coming back into the fold, it eases the tension and it eases the workload on Treyarch and Infinity Ward. And it also brings us a studio with some fresh ideas and a fresh way and innovative ways to take Call of Duty. Like, if you don't understand and you don't know, just look at World War II. Look at World War II before the patches, and then look at World War II after the patches. They are two very different games, two very different systems, and the latter system works very, very well for that game. And I think for Sledgehammer to be coming back, they're coming back for a reason. Activision probably saw something and they were like, oh, that's going to make us money. It's going to be interesting to see as well their integration with Warzone, whether that be Advanced Warfare 2 or whether that be World War 3. I'd argue World War 3 would be a lot easier to integrate with Warzone compared to, imagine like you had to add jetpacks into Warzone. That'd be absolutely crazy, and I don't think they'll necessarily do that. But I think World War 3 integration will be interesting, and as a title, World War 3 sounds kind of cool. I mean, like, if you're you're looking at the game shelf and you're looking at the games on display, you look at all the Call of Duties and you're like, Advanced Warfare 2 or World War 3? You'd go World War 3. And I think that's a setting that we haven't necessarily explored too much. We've done a lot of advanced movement with Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 3. Yeah, we kind of did World War 3 with the story of Modern Warfare 3. But we haven't really explored that. We haven't explored the lead up, we haven't explored the fallout and all that sort of stuff. So World War 3 could be a very, very interesting title for this year's Call of Duty game. But that's all I have for you guys in this video. This video, as I said, was inspired by a Reddit post, which is a little teaser for what I'm bringing you guys. I'm going to be looking through the Black Ops Cold War official subreddit every single week starting next week. So click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on that set of videos. Comment down below, what do you think of Sledgehammer coming back? And would you rather Advanced Warfare 2 or would you rather World War 3? I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.
Can't you see the bandage on my face? Wanna light the city, that's my place. Don't you touch the money, that's my case. Ride around the city like you know the place. Killing everybody like you know the base. Stealing all the cars, then you go race. Fucking everybody, you don't know the name.